Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I think there's something that is thrown around in the digital asset space all the time, but we don't really explore how it translates and how it will translate into prices. We talk all the time, we hear all the time, tokenization of real world assets, and we hear all the time, everything's going to be tokenized. What does that look like, and how will that affect the market cap of crypto, and how will it reflect in prices, Bitcoin, XRP, or these other things? How will the market look different as a result of all that? You know, Bitcoin has had regulatory clarity all by itself, fake regulatory clarity all by itself, but all bets are off when we have these regulations. And I believe that all of a sudden there will be a shift, but we're going to talk about what that's going to look like in the group. You can go to daixrp.com if you'd like to join through the Patreon, or you can click the join button right here below any of my YouTube videos if you'd like to join through YouTube. Now, this article is going around, Spot a Scam, How to Outsmart Online Cons. Here's some of the different types of scams. Pig butchering, they build fake relationships online, posing as a friend, love interest, mentor. Pump and dump, we know what that is. Fake giveaways, we see those videos where they pretend to be Ripple and give fake giveaways on YouTube. Impersonation scams, fraudsters pretend to be customer service reps or from wallet providers. Phishing attacks, don't ever click links, don't answer the phone. People trying to tell you that they're Coinbase support or whoever, it's all bull. Never share your private keys. Avoid clicking on random links. Don't click on any links unless it's someone you know. Be skeptical of urgency. Scammers rely on pressure tactics. Research before you invest. This is a big one. Trust your gut and verify details. Beware of random texts and emails. We're seeing that. A long time ago, folks, there was a hack, not of Coinbase itself, but of Coinbase's customer information, as I recall. And that's the reason you get to this day, you get all these texts and phone calls, because a long time ago, the data was leaked. They didn't get your crypto from the leak, but they got your information. And that's why you get these texts. That's why you get these phone calls, or it's a big part of the reason why. Now, what I do to avoid all of that, like I keep telling you, and I keep pounding it home for this reason, is I use Caleb and Brown's institutional custody. It's one of, I think, 2 that I've found. I'm going to talk about the second one next week. And this is crucial to have it. They use Fireblocks. It's crucial to have institutional custody because it provides you 2 or 3 extra layers, and you can actually talk. You have someone you can talk to, so you can give them specific instructions if you want to on how you want your account to be handled. Go to xrpwealth589.com if you'd like to check that out. It'll take you right to my referral link. I'm an affiliate partner with Caleb and Brown. All right, check it out. They're calling for stablecoin summer.
Janelle, we'd be remiss to not say that we are literally in stablecoin summer right now. We had the Circle IPO last week. You guys have been working with Circle for a long time. There are a few chains that I think we're so bullish on how stablecoins could transform the financial systems than Stellar. So tell us a little bit how you, like in your perspective, how we got here.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny when I think about, we were focusing on stablecoins before stablecoin was a word. And it's so awesome to
You're going to have to forgive the blower outside.
See it actually.
If you've been here a while, you've been dealing with it for a long time.
Really come to fruition. And I love the moniker for stablecoin summer. You know, one of the things that Stellar was built for was asset issuance and payment, cross-border payment, just the idea of moving money so simply. And to be able to finally get to a place in the United States, and certainly I think globally, where stablecoins are not just seen as this like new shiny thing, but are actually seen as valuable assets for utility. and for accessing just merchants and accessing individuals globally and being able to move value that quickly, it feels like a decade, because it is, in terms of how long we've been actually trying to push this momentum. But to see it all come together now is just, it's beautiful. And I think it really demonstrates the value, not just of Stellar and the tech stack, but of just what this kind of ecosystem can do for the world.
All right. And then Matt Hogan says stablecoin summer as well. He's retweeting Walmart and Amazon thinking about getting into stablecoins. They're not thinking about it. They're going to. Then Lark Davis, who is a Bitcoin maxi, but he's one of the nicer ones. He's calling for an altcoin ETF summer.
Eric Bakun is saying, get ready for potential altcoin ETF summer. Solana likely leading the way, as well as some basket products via baskets. So these would be the ability to click on one button in your brokerage account and get access to 3, 4, 5 different altcoins. That's highly likely to be approved. Litecoin's at 90%, Solana's at 90%, XRP's at 85%, Dogecoin's at 80%. Some of these other ones will probably eventually get approved, but it's going to be a while. These ones will be the first ones. Litecoin, Solana, XRP, Dogecoin, they're going to be the next 4 ETFs for ETF summer.
Well, I declared it, and I forgot to put ETFs in here, but meant to. Crypto IPO, merger, acquisition, stablecoin, altcoin, and XRP, and ETF summer is what I'm calling for. It is on, folks. DZ Bank pioneers institutional digital asset custody offering with Ripple Custody. It's launched digital custody service through crypto securities like tokenized bonds using blockchain to boost capital market efficiency. Here's John Deaton. He's talking XRP and Bitcoin tribalism. He was on with the Wolf of All Streets, who is a Bitcoin maxi. And by the way, I think John Deaton's doing a good thing. I think he's trying to bridge the gap a little bit between all the maximalism. But I'm gonna have to hit the refresh button here. Let me get this thing going.
Selling out. Buy more Bitcoin, right? It was just about government overreach. You know, the government shouldn't tell you what you can own. They shouldn't pick winners and losers. You know, you don't let something trade for 7.5 years and then say, all of a sudden say it's illegal. And then we saw it play out because a lot of people were hoping it was a one-off, right? It was just Ripple related or it was XRP related. And then we saw the spot ETF Bitcoin get denied, which took an appellate court to say that they were arbitrary and capricious. And so I think generally, even Bitcoin maxis were like, okay, the government's a bad actor sometimes, and it's okay if someone fights them, so it's cool.
Have you found that you actually get support and respect for having beat the SEC, even though it wasn't on behalf of Bitcoin? Because there's some cognitive dissonance there, right? Because
there is.
There were the Bitcoiners who cheered for the SEC because it was Ripple.
Right.
But the same ones would tell you that you should opt out of the government entirely and buy Bitcoin. So how does that make any sense?
A lot of times it doesn't, you know, but my whole feeling was that the tribalism is fine as long as it's not the government telling us what we can buy and what we can own and what we can't own. But yeah, there's still some people who view it as, oh, you helped Ripple or you helped XRP. And I go, no, to me, it's fighting the government, fighting the Elizabeth Warrens of the world is the honorable thing to do. And but there's always going to be some people like that person, like, why is a shitcoiner on the stand because he helped XRP? But listen, I think 80% and going against her is enough to prove that I like this asset.
He did fight, that's for sure. And we got David Schwartz. He's with the CTO of Axelar.
Blockchains have been islands. You know, you have an asset like XRP, one of the biggest assets in the space, and it's still not available in DeFi, right? The holders cannot put it to productive use, and it really limits what people can do with those assets, right? So interoperability is innovative not because it's going to invent new use cases. The innovative use cases are going to be built on your ecosystem, on the XRPL ledger, and some of the other blockchains in the space. But interoperability really makes blockchain usable, right, and accessible to all users. So it's not about novel use cases, but it's about making the existing use cases easy to use.
So what are the components of an interoperability solution?
I'd say there's a few different ways to design an interoperability solution, but the most popular approach have been one where you have some entity that passes messages and assets from one chain to another. right? And historically, I think the first interoperability solutions were centralized exchanges, right? Like Binance, where they have a big company that custodies assets on behalf of users. You give them assets on one chain, you do a swap in their platform, they give you assets on the other chain. And the next evolution of that was, of course, all of the centralized prison solutions that have been getting hacked over multiple years, billions of dollars being lost. And with Axelar, we took like a fundamentally different approach, where we're like, we don't want to have one person in the middle that's just passing assets back and forth between chains. Instead, we're going to have a blockchain that's decentralized and going to have similar security guarantees.
All right, I'm going to skip that one. I do want you. I'm going to skip that one. This is XRP and LM directly benefit from adoption migration to ISO 20022. I want to play you this. This is XRP being mentioned by this guy. I guess he's a chart guy. He's with Raoul Paul.
And XRP is boring, but this will explode at some point.
XRP will explode. I agree with that. Smoke's doing his thing. XRP Ledger, Amazon Web Services. This is a graphic. The XRP node server. This is from AWS Marketplace. There's the XRP Ledger sitting there right at the center of everything. Reminds me of the Everest document. Does anybody remember, any of you OGs out there remember the XRP tip bot? Well, this is one of the presentations with Easy A at Apex.
Step 3, found your wallet. You'll see your dashboard, wallet ready, balance at 0. You can fund it via exchange or future fiat on ramps. Open Twitch, go to any streamer, extension activates automatically, overlay the chat, it feels like native, like Twitch, just better. And then 5, take your favorite streamer, so just type /tip1 to send our USD in the chat, and done.
So here's what you're going to see, folks. You're going to start seeing tips. I think X Money will be one of the first to. They're going to launch X Money on X soon. You're going to see it there. You're going to see it across all these social media platforms, the ability to tip, maybe streaming tips with videos and all kinds of things. Okay, we're going to go into the group and we're going to talk about what is that going to look for us? I mean, we talk about everything's going to be tokenized all the time. What does that look like for us? Go to daixrp.com to join the Patreon, because we want to know what that looks like price-wise. You can join through YouTube by clicking join on the join button right below any of my YouTube videos. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that my 12-year-old will now be hounding me for lunch as soon as I get finished with this video. Here we go.